So before proceeding with our session, I would like to give you a brief introduction to the participants.
Sure.
So, hello all. So today we
And I was repeatedly talking to the team at university here that we should be very clear with the ask. Could be in terms of capital, connections, uh, any specific support you're looking for. Another non-equity option is bank debt. So you can always take a loan and debt from the bank, which is non-dilutive of capital, and you need collaterals for most of it. So if your business fit under the banking criteria to raise debt, that is what also you can look for. Other source, all of you know, I'll not go in detail, grants, awards, etc., which different state government incubators are providing, which is not a very high amount, very small amount, but at least take care of some of your operations, etc. These are the equity options that angel investors who invest, venture capitalist, private equity, and public market comes later. Again, that help you speed up the growth, capture the market, uh, limited control, and ownership is with you. Are we clear so far? What are the options? Uh, what are the stage of funding, relationship with different players in the market as well? At what stage?
Yes, yes.
Anyone have any questions? Any doubts so far? These are the questions you might have that, or typically the investors will ask you. So you have to be prepared. Maybe you're raising 20 lakh or a 1 CR. Uh, these are the common question will be asked. So you have to be prepared with that, that how big is the market? All of us think that the product is great. Uh, you can capture XYZ, but how big problem you're trying to solve? Uh, how do you want to grow your business? How fast you want to grow your business? That's another question. Uh, what drives you? Wealth, fame, and impact through your product or service. If wealth, then 20% of 1,000 or 100% of 100. Are you willing to part of? Are you willing to part share with your company? I mean, this means you want to carve out the equity for investors and lose some of the ownership in the company. What is the end goal? Are you willing to eventually sell out your business? This question you should practically answer yourself while starting a business, that what is the end objective? And also this question, that what drives you? Wealth, fame, or impact? Because it is different for person to person, and not necessarily you have to answer these during the presentation, but you should know as a founder eventually. So these are the reasons you should raise equity finance. uh, Going after large market opportunity, uh, passionate founding team that believes, uniqueness in product, service, and business model. See, without fund equity fundraise, it is difficult to go after some extent, because there is a lot of competition. uh, you need to have a quick growth in the ecosystem as well. But I mean, there is enough competition market where speed is really important for global potential as well, because to scale in our country as well as getting into a couple of other countries, you need capital, and hence you need to dilute capital. And I always tell founders that if you're diluting, don't raise it from the sources where they are just coming up with the capital. Today founders are very smart and they look for strategic connections, help in partnership, which enhance your business as well. So always look that if somebody is putting capital, they are not only seeing it as a return on their investment. They're always, because they are now part of your company, or they are holding some equity. So it is very essential that you should discuss in detail that what they are bringing on the table as well. And as you grow, high research and development expenses are also expected, and specifically in case of biotech companies here, uh, R&D will increase, lot of certification cost will be there. Hence, you need to think for the equity finance as well. I briefly mentioned you should also learn before you meet investor that what sector they are focused, what technology they are aiming towards, uh, what size of fund they are having and investing, which other companies they have invested so far. You should also check their portfolio. Uh, what is the domicile? So some funds are global funds investing across different countries. Uh, do they have limitation? Also, you should look now. These days, we see this very often that uh, investors have been invested in similar sort of company or a product what you're building. So always the investor or investors will not invest in a very similar nature of product or service. It will be a competitive company for them as well. So it will be a conflict of interest for investors to invest in a similar nature of product or service. So also you should look that have they invested in similar companies or not, so that you are also careful before sharing some of the information if it's a NT portfolio for them. Also, you should know that what stage they are investing, seed, at idea stage, what is really. So at a seed stage, founder and the prototype are very important. That proof of concept, what you develop, and the founder skill set to get that. Because initially, the bet is on the founder and their idea and the proof of concept they have built. So you should ensure that you are very sharp. You have all the answers ready. You have all the technical know-how to scale the product. Because if you have developed the proof concept, investors will judge your capability to build the scalable product. And it is not necessary that if you have built the prototype, you and your team will be able to make the final product as well, because it takes very long effort. If you are at an early stage, you should have an initial traction which shows market potential, minimal product risk, and existing business model risk as well. And if you are at a growth stage, you should talk in detail about market, product and business model which is proven, and capital raise for rapid growth as well. So these are the things you should keep in mind while you are talking to any venture funds, that where they are focusing, which sectors, size, region, their portfolio, and what state they are investing in, what interest they have. Now you will have this question very often: who is the right VC for you? And I kind of somehow captured most of it today, that you should match these what we see in the last slide. Look their track record, speak to existing portfolio CEOs and founder, what sort of support they are getting. So you have all rights to ask investors that can you connect me with couple of companies where you have invested. So you'll get the relevant genuine feedback. I mentioned these that no directly competing investment in the portfolio has enough capital syndication ability to fund future rounds. This is also very important question. uh, you can ask that today if they are investing 50 lakh, can they help you bring another capital in future. Because when you run out of money, the people you typically go is this existing investor. Can they pull off more capital for your company? How is your chemistry with partner team of that VC? So it depends, right? So both side, cause ultimately I've written here that choosing VC is like going through arranged marriage process. Choose wisely, and divorce can be expensive because you get into legal affair here, and which nobody want to go, neither a VC firm or neither you and your founders. So you need to see that how well you gel up. There is a comfort level you build with the any investor. I mean, here I'm not saying VC. This could be even angel investor, because practically you are bringing somebody on your life or a cap table of your business, and they have all rights to ask you where you have spent 10 rupees as well, because they are the equity holder in your company. Now it depends that how much rights you have given. That comes the agreement discussion, that whether you have given rights in terms of hiring a team, uh, or maybe how do you run the operations, what sort of rights you have given in terms of asking the question. So you have to be very careful when it comes to choosing a right for the investors. Otherwise, you might be in trouble that some angels may have all the rights to ask you that how your operation goes. If you're hiring, they should also interview, etc. That is very tedious and very operational process, that where your investor intervene in very small things to run the business. So you have to be very careful while giving the rights, and I always suggest that you should consult some legal advisor. They are the best helping you with while reviewing the documents. You also have to check, are they ethical, fair, transparent, reliable, honest, and upfront, and focus on the valuation and deal terms. As I mentioned, take legal help here. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So what more to expect than the capital? I am again repeating here that you can ask support in terms of senior management or a senior hiring for your team. That investors can help you build a right profile from their network. They can bring something broad level strategy, accessing follow-on rounds, other sources of fund. So maybe if they don't do follow-on round, can their network help you raise next round as well? So choose first investor very wisely, so that you know that their network is fantastic and they can at least help you raise the next round, where you can only focus on scaling the product and the business. They can also, they should help you with the corporate governance and overall reporting. Uh, some of the business development leads, helping business to go global and expand in different geographies. Uh, you should also see, can you leverage their portfolio, the other investment companies from the balance sheet. So if it's an angel investor or a VC, what other companies partnership you can build, you can do business with them, you can use some of the feature, as it's a similar portfolio what they are owning. There are a lot of learning and synergies you can build from that. What PR visibility and the credibility, a lot of people hire celebrities as their investors, right? There you get a lot of credibility, visibility, and it gives you awesome reach if some known personality is also investing in your company. And last but not least, friends and sounding board. Whenever there is some emergency or you have a question, they should act as a friend and sounding board to your company. That's what you can expect from investors. What investors look for? They look for vision, past experience of the entrepreneur at an early stage. I mean, that's most. Other thing they look, and you should typically have is a complementary skill set needed to scale amongst founder team. This is essential and most important because today time we see that a lot of people have a technical skill. They know how to build a product right, but they are not really aware that how to scale or how to run the business operation and take these the product into market. So that challenge we come across often, and hence you should be very careful that when you're talking about team, and you can always say that today we don't have a right team, but we will hire some senior folks who can help build partnership, do business development, and run the business in the external market. And often we see that you are very good at technical skill at a lab level, or you know overall IP, but you might not be good at taking the product at outside the lab as well. So there is no harm, but you have to be upfront and open. uh, Also investors look for large market potential, so they don't typically look at 20 cr 30 cr business. They look some more than 100,000 cr business where they see the scale, and this is a technical business, technology led business I'm talking, not the traditional business which scale up to some crores. Because VC and private equity can only make money when it's a 1,000 cr businesses. uh, it has to be scalable, build business efficiently and quickly. So there has to be a rapid scale within 3 to 5 years. Otherwise, if it's a very research oriented project, then it may take maybe 7 to 10 years for approval, certification, getting into market. That's a long cycle. Today, any space tech company in India have that long justification time. Any pharma company or a health tech company might have long justification cycle. There it will be very difficult for them to show the scale in very small period. And I help you understand why then funds are looking exits between fifth or sixth year of the fund. So if your product life cycle is 7 to 10 years, it is difficult for investors or a fund to justify that how you're going to give the return in 7 to 8 years. So keep that in mind that you have to give return to your investor, at least friends, family, and angel investor, in immediately 2 to 3 years. If it's a micro VC or a VC, you have to give the exit in at least 3 to 5 years of tenure from the day they invest. So you have to keep that things in mind. I mean, this is not the money that you have taken and you are working day in day out. It is as similar that they're not asking for return from day one like bank interest, but at least cumulative interest they'll expect after 3 to 5 years with more return than the bank interest practically. What they look for, strong value proposition, why you will win against the competition, and what is moat or a defensibility, whether it's IP or a defensible first more advantage you come up with your product or service. And also and always investors will look that how are you going to give them exit, whether you will merge your company with some other, IPO karoge ya what exactly you'll do. So how will investors will evaluate your company? I mean, these are some of the parameters, and broadly they'll look for 10 things, but if I have to summarize, they'll look for team, that's most important, product, market, and traction. Can these generate a large exit in 5 to 6 years? That's what I said, right? And if yes, then today you should think as a founder that how you're going to make that pitch for the first week of March. which gives good exit to your investor in next 5 to 6 years from today. These are the things. These are your slides practically. 10 slides you should have. Team, idea, value proposition, market side, competition, business model, who are your customer, what stage traction you have, financial projection, fund requirement, and uses of that fund. If you have these 10 slides, that's your investment pitch deck, not more than 10 slides. And you can only have maybe 10 to 15 minutes to discuss 10 investors, not more than that. Otherwise, they lose interest. This is how the investor evaluate the deal. I mean, this is detailed version. I'll share these slide with you, not going detail here, but this is how the due diligence work practically. If I get interest in your company, these are the next questions I'll have for detailed discussion. This is the usual funding process and timeline. So if any investor keep you waited for 3 months without giving you answer, it means they are not interested. If they're interested, they will immediately get back to you within at least 15 to 20 days. And they'll do primary discussion with you. Then you will get to know that discussions are happening, couple of meetings, calls are happening. Then the deal validation happens between 30 to 45 days. And then final due diligence closure. So entire process is around 3 months overall. By the time money hit your bank account after the legal paperwork. I mean, these are some questions you will have. When should we raise capital? How do we time it? I mean, are we really ready or not? So, I mean, you should have sufficient cash runway to provide flexibility in fundraising process. So, I usually say that you should have at least 18 months of runway all the time. If you have money to run the operation, pay salaries, uh, and spend on R&D, etc., you should have visibility of 1.5 year anytime. And then plus minus, you should start discussing about fundraising. You should have achieved necessary milestone to get the valuation you deserve. So depends on the team, IP, what stage you are, competition. That's a parameter for valuation of your company. It has to be fair and uh, with valid reason. I mean, it cannot be a vague reason for your valuation as well. You should be throughoutly prepared to deliver knockout pitch and efficiently respond to diligent request. And investors have all rights to ask all random questions, technical, non-technical, around the business. This is also another question that if I'm raising 1 million US dollar, whether we call it seed or pre-series A or series A. So there is no right answer. Every company is working in a different sector. Every company is having different market size, different potential, and every company requires different capital. So these definition of seed, pre-series A, series A will differ for each of them. Today, any deep tech company or space tech company, I would say, uh, at a seed stage, they will require minimum 1 million US dollar, which is around 8 to 9 crore Indian rupees. But if I talk about any traditional company, somebody is building a software as a service, SaaS product. For them, seed is maybe just 200K US dollar, which is around 1.5 CR. So definition of seed, pre-series A, series A differs from investor to investor, founder to founder. So you have to be sharp at reading that terms. Which investors should we target? So that we discussed already. Think of dilution versus valuation. That maybe we can skip today. These are some of the valuation driver that if you're valuing your company, these things you should keep in mind. But there is no formula for actual valuation, but practically if you are at a growth stage, revenue numbers, contract value also getting considered in terms of valuation of the company as well. Things which don't excite the VCs. So I think you should be careful that what to speak, what not to speak while pitching, and let's not confuse anyone because they are also human, right? Any questions, any doubt?
Uh, Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are a 1.5 year old. So we have got some grant 15 to 16 lakhs. So first time we are going to raise equity funding. We are planning to raise 2 CR. So as of now, what you said, the return should be like 5 to 6 years, right? That is what you said. So we have to show the financial projection for next 5 years to make a valuation or how it works.
No, so you don't have to go in that depth, but at least you have to show broadly that what is the next 2 year look like and how are you going to utilize these fund and what is your plan to give them exit, because any investors would like to see exit. So after 5 6 years where you will be and which give them some assumption or estimation about their exit and return. You don't have to put it in numbers, but at least you have to show that growth path that today I'm raising X amount, I'll be utilizing in this manner, and I'll be here after 4 or 5 years. That's what you have to show it to them. And where you will be utilizing these capital, whatever you're using, raising.
So for financial projection, so till next 1 year or 2 years, I can show the numbers or what stage? Because everybody wants the numbers, right? When I pitch.
Yeah, so
So
see
revenue
again,
stage,
see, I'll
like
tell
for
you
next.
in the presentation, you don't necessarily have to go in that depth, but if I'm showing interest as a VC that let's talk and how I want to invest, I'll definitely ask 5 year projection plan there. But if you're pitching for maybe first week of March, sorry, yeah, sorry.
No problem.
So if you're pitching for what number you mentioned, how much you're raising?
The
4
financial
CR.
projection, yeah. Yeah, how much we will, some projection we have to show for the revenue, right? This is for next 1 year or 2 years or numbers I can use because they want finally numbers. I cannot just like, I cannot say anything there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say, that today, for maybe assuming 2 years you don't have a revenue, but third year onward you will generate some revenue, and you are planning to give them exit after 4 year. It means you have earned some revenue between third year of your business to fifth year of business. Cumulatively, whatever you have generated in third to fifth year of business, can give exit to your investor. That's how you have to calculate. But you and investor both know that initial 2 years you're only focusing on product development and taking it to the market. When it hit third year, it will start churning the revenue, and eventually that revenue between third year to fifth year will give the exit to your investors, and you will be able to raise next round large amount as well. That's how you have to put it in a structure. And hence you have to choose investor wisely, because they should have patience. So today angel investor will not have that patience, that they are not seeing any return until third year. So hence that's the difficulty, whether your investor look for the quick return versus investor look for patient return in 5 to 7 years.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
But
Yeah, I
you
need
are,
to ask one question.
yeah. Yes, tell
So
me.
usually how much return an investor is expecting? Like if I'm giving exit in 3 to 5 years, so how
Hmm,
much return is investor expecting? If I'm seeking for, suppose, 1 CR.
sure. So once you are typically invested by angel investor, any business incubator, acceleration, uh, that sort of people will invest around once a year, right?
Hmm.
So it require, and there is a more risk involved, because not sure whether company will fly or not. So at that time they will at least expect around 5 to 7 time returns what they've invested.
5 to 7 times. That means 5
Yes,
CR.
in once year you mentioned. Yeah, correct. So
That means 5 to
that's
7
expect.
CR over the period of 3 to 5 years.
Yes, correct. So that's the highest amount I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Otherwise, there is no mailing, right? So if you're putting 1 CR and you can only
Hmm.
double it down, there are better other ways apart from the startup investment. So you only think from, you are putting money. If you have 1 CR, whether you put it in SIP or a mutual fund, might give
Hmm.
you at least double return, right? Versus you are investing in startup because you are taking a bet and risk, and that risk is very high that you can blow the money. There is no
So,
return. Correct.
so
So hence these are
investing
risky,
in
that
other verticals like mutual fund, that is also a risky thing. You can't
exactly.
assure double
No,
returns
but at
like
least there is some surety that it will come back, right? So hence the, I'm talking about maximum 5 to 7 is a max amount. Then it depends, and you have to be upfront that what is the return they are expecting.
5 to 7 CR is like on very higher side. It's like 500 times.
That's how the deal works today. That's the harsh reality.
Because till the time, I'm just taking an example.
Hmm.
This is like 1 crore. I'm just taking as an example. So if somebody is giving me 1 CR and
Correct.
suppose in my third year, company is generating revenue.
Hmm.
Company starts to generate revenue. So
Hmm.
initial 2 years gone in making the company or like initiating everything from very scratch to the production.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
third year onwards, company start generating revenue. So
Hmm.
maybe in the third year, the company generate 1 CR or not.
Hmm.
It is very much possible. If company is not generating 1 CR in the third year, then how return of like 5 CR can be given to
So
the
that's what I'm
investor?
saying. See, that's how the investment work. The returns are not promised. These are bets, right? And hence
These
I'm
are
saying it has to be mutually discussed before you raise fund. Hence it's a
So it depends on startup to varies from startup to startup.
Startup to startup, also investor to investor. Some people only have a expectation of doubling the money. That's it. So hence I'm saying you need to really understand the investor very well,
Hmm.
and hence it's a wise decision to choose the right investors.
So basically, in every kind of business, we can say that annual return should be 15 to 20% is the expected return. So
Correct.
if an investor is investing 1 CR in FD or bank, he'll get 8 to 10% return.
Correct.
So if an investor is getting 50 to 20% return in a year,
Hmm.
that is a wise
दिस इज क्यूमुलेटिव राइट, क्योंकि आप उनको इमीडिएटली फर्स्ट और
cumulative.
सेकंड ईयर में तो दे नहीं रहे हो, यू आर आल्सो गिविंग एग्जिट इन मे बी
And,
बिटवीन
and
3 to 5 year, तो आप पहले
hmm.
2 साल तो उनको कुछ भी रिटर्न नहीं देते, आप प्रैक्टिकली क्यूमुलेटिव दे रहे हो। हेंस आई सेड कि दे विल एक्सपेक्ट 5 to 6 टाइम्स एग्जिट।
So suppose I'm investing 1 CR today
या
in like in FD or something.
हम्म
So my money will be doubled in over the period of 5 years,
हम्म मैं वही कैलकुलेशन बता रहा हूँ आपको।
compounded.
मार्केट रिस्क के हिसाब से देखने हैं कि अगर आप इन्वेस्टर से 1 करोड़ रुपए मांग रहे हो,
Hmm.
तो आप मार्केट में जो भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है
Hmm.
उससे आप कैसे ज्यादा दे पाओगे, वही सिंपल कैलकुलेशन
हाँ
करना है,
चलो, अ-
और
अगर
कुछ नहीं
अगर
सोचना।
1 CR का 2 CR होता है मार्केट में 5 साल के टाइम फ्रेम में,
करेक्ट।
तो वो 2 CR का थोड़ा मतलब 3 CR मांग लेंगे, बट 5 CR एंड 7 CR ये तो बहुत ही हायर साइड पे हो गया ना।
डिपेंड्स
तो इतना तो कंपनी
व्हाट
तो जितना रेवेन्यू जनरेट करेगी, जो प्रॉफिट्स वगैरह फिर कंपनी को आएंगे ही नहीं। 5 साल में भी प्रॉफिट नहीं निकाल पाएगी कंपनी।
इज ऑल आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, दैट्स अ जनरल टर्म्स टुडे इन द मार्केट, डिपेंड्स पर्सन टू पर्सन हु इज इन्वेस्टिंग, also depends what sort of company you are building as a founder. So it all differ between companies and the investor. I'm just giving you ballpark figure here. There is no stamped numbers that this is how the market work. This is what we've been seeing in the companies that angels are making 1 CR का 100 CR भी लोगों ने बनाया हुआ है मार्केट।
हम्म
So
हम्म
I'm talking about the companies which is now scaled globally in 3 to 5 years.
ओके।
Consumer companies में भी बन जाता है। So if your order contract value is very high in the software, SaaS companies में भी पैसा बन जाता है। So depends what you are building, it really matters on them. And here we are just discussing overall expectation of angels. वो मार्केट
So it
में
depends on the return the company is generating over the period of 5 years.
करेक्ट
The
करेक्ट
revenue company is generating, sorry.
यस, क्योंकि
So
कोई भी
if
देखो ना, कब इन जब भी स्टार्टअप में आजकल लोग लास्ट प्रेफरेंस देते हैं क्योंकि बाकी मार्केट इंस्ट्रूमेंट वैलिडेटेड है। यहाँ पे तो आप पहले तो फाउंडर्स को जान रहे हो, उनको अंडरस्टैंड कर रहे हो, उनके कंपनी का
हम्म
धंधा समझ रहे हो, उसके
हम्म
बाद यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग।
हम्म
सो लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट राइट। मार्केट में तो क्या है, आपको स्क्रिप्ट देखना है म्यूचुअल फंड या एसआईपी का,
हम्म
and you know the financial institution, you know the credibility, you know the platform, तो you have all surety, आपको ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं है। यहाँ पे आपको काफ़ी रिस्क फैक्टर काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, and hence you are taking that risky bet for more returns.
okay.
Hence I am giving you this guidance कि यार, if you are pitching it in March first week, you have to be very careful what you're pitching for, otherwise वो पिच हो जाएगा, बट कॉन्वर्शन आगे कैसे बढ़ाना है वो आपको सोचना है वहां से।
हम्म।
मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ आप बड़ा नंबर मत बोलो, फिर आपको लग रहा है कि यार 10 लाख ही रेज करना है, जस्ट से कि 10 लाख चाहिए, बट एक सॉलिड प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड करना है,
हम्म
बट ग्रेजुअली यू विल रेज। समटाइम यू फील कि अभी रेज ही नहीं करना है, जो ग्रांट्स मिल रहे हैं इंक्यूबेटर से या कुछ अवार्ड मनी जीत के सरवाइव कर रहे हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइन, विच इज ऑल्सो गुड। You
हम्म
can ask for mentoring, partnership, whatever expertise investor have. Not necessary that capital is also only the way out.
हम्म।
Because
And this also depends on the negotiations, what what kind of
Yes.
negotiations you have done with the investor.
करेक्ट एंड कोई भी एंजल इन्वेस्टमेंट में आपको नंबर नहीं बोलना होता है कि मैं आपको 5 साल में इतना रिटर्न दूंगा. इट डिपेंड्स हाउ द कंपनी ग्रोज. तो आपको ऐसा भी
तो
नहीं
वो
कि
एग्जिट प्लान जैसे आप कह रहे हैं, एग्जिट
हाँ
प्लान एक देना होता है.
करेक्ट. तो
एग्जिट
प्लान
प्लान में तो
बनाना है कि
यही
मैं
चीज
इतने टाइम
बताना
में
है कि
एग्जिट दूंगा. आपको नंबर नहीं
आप
बोलना होता कि आपको इतना रिटर्न मिलेगा. यू डोंट हैव टू कमिट एनी नंबर.
डेफिनेटली नंबर बता भी नहीं सकते हैं, क्योंकि ओवर द
करेक्ट
पीरियड ऑफ टाइम कितना रेवेन्यू जनरेट होगा वो
करेक्ट
तो बाद में ही पता चलेगा.
करेक्ट. बट यू कैन से कि एटलीस्ट मैं इतना ग्रोथ सोच रहा हूँ और ये नंबर मेरा रेवेन्यू का नंबर ये हो सकता है. दैट
नहीं,
एटलीस्ट
वो
यू
तो
शुड नो.
एक्चुअली क्या है, अगर हम ज्यादा उनको ग्रोथ बताएंगे कि हम इतना ग्रो करेंगे, तो वो इन्वेस्टर की डिमांड्स भी ज्यादा हो जाएंगी.
So it has to be balanced. That's what I'm trying to say.
हम्म, ठीक है. ओके.
Any other question? Any specific? Anyone? So if there are no questions, we can wrap up the session and feel free to reach out if you have any doubts before your pitch as well. Happy to speak over call.
I
Yes,
sir, yeah, no, that's fine.
Tell me.
I have prepared from the last few meetings now. I have decided to prepare a few numbers for my slides.
Okay.
Because until unless you don't put any numbers on your slides, you can't validate your project or you can't validate your startup to anyone, I think. You know? So exit and the rest of the things will come until unless you assured your audience that you have some numbers to prove it. तो वो नंबर मैंने assumptions के बेस पे अगर ले रहे हो या मार्केट वैलिडेशन के बेस पे ले रहे हो या बहुत कंजर्वेटिव ले रहे हो, इज इट ओके? मतलब मैं ये मेरा डाउट ये है कि कंजर्वेटिवली नंबर लेना चाहिए अपने जो भी आप लेते हो, और इफ यू डोंट माइंड इफ आई कैन क्विकली गिव यू अ ग्लांस ऑफ माय स्लाइड्स इटसेल्फ. यहाँ पर मैं अगर अपनी आपको वो प्रेजेंटेशन ही दिखा दूं, उसमें जो मेरी फाइनेंस वाली स्लाइड जो प्रिपेयर की है, तो उसमें अगर आप कुछ फीडबैक दे सके कि कंजर्वेटिव नंबर लेने चाहिए या खुल के नंबर लो, एंड यू कैन इंक्रीज योर प्रॉफिट एनीवेयर. आप प्रॉफिट को अगर दिखाना है अगर आपको नंबर्स के बेसिस पे,
No, so
तो
all I'm
आपको
trying, yeah, I got your question. It has to be
हाँ
realistic.
नहीं, रियलिस्टिक मीन वही मैं उसका ही स्केल पूछना चाहता हूँ आपसे कि रियलिस्टिक तो कोई भी चीज रियलिस्टिक हो सकती है ना. एक नंबर्स तो अब जैसे हमारा बिजनेस है फॉर द फार्मर्स, लेट्स से 80 या 100 किलोमीटर के अंदर 1000 फार्मर्स है, और अगर मैं 1000 में से आई हैव डिसाइडेड कि मैं 20 फार्मर्स जब तक मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म में नहीं आएंगे तो मैं अपना प्लेटफॉर्म को लाइव नहीं करूंगा. अब 20 फार्मर्स का अगर हम प्रोड्यूस को लें और वो बेचें तो नंबर्स कैन बी एनॉर्मस बन जाते हैं, बहुत बड़े नंबर बन जाते हैं. तो मैंने उनके प्रोड्यूस का 5% 10% लिया है कि वो एटलीस्ट 100% में से 10% हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म में बेचेंगे.
हाँ, which is true. That's fair.
Is it how you build your numbers? This is what I mean.
Yeah,
or shall I increase my 10% that I have decided to 50% or 60% or 70%? Because अभी हम अपने प्रूफ ऑफ कंसेप्ट में है कि भाई हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म को कोई लाइक करता है या नहीं करता है, या वो ऑल्टरनेटिव मार्केट प्लेस को लाइक करेंगे भी कि नहीं करेंगे, या व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स दे अवेल इट फ्रॉम अस, क्योंकि हम उनको जो मार्केट. हाँ जी,
got it. So 10% initial first year में दिखाना सही है. Gradually you can show that कि second year onward, once they are utilizing platform, could be 20% sales from through our platform, etc. Because now they have experience. We also know who are the.
हाँ, मैंने उसी तरीके से सेट किया है.
करेक्ट. तो ग्रेजुअली लेके जाना विच इज फेयर. सेकेंड ईयर में शायद आप नए ज्योग्राफी नए फार्मर को ऑनबोर्ड करें तो उनका 10% होगा.
हाँ, हम
ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग
हमने
होगा.
हमने सैटेलाइट्स के बेसिस पे लिए, सैटेलाइट सेंटर 80 किलोमीटर पे एक सैटेलाइट सेंटर होगा जो वहां का केटर करेगा। तो मैं ये भी पूछना चाहता हूँ, एंड एट द सेम टाइम आपका रेवेन्यू तो आप इंक्रीज कर रहे हो, फिक्स कॉस्ट भी आप अपनी इंक्रीज करते जाओगे, देन ओनली यू कैन बिल्ड द नंबर्स, राइट?
करेक्ट।
कि you have to hire the additional labor, you have to give away the additional logistic and everything. So वो सारी चीजों को consideration कर then we can build a realistic numbers, right?
करेक्ट।
And whatever the profit that our assumptions will give us after a 1 year or 2 years and 3 years or 4 years or 5 years of assumptions of financial statements, on that
Yeah.
basis the investors can decide their input or valuation of the company, right?
That's correct. And also these numbers what you're putting, that's the kind of a benchmark for you and your team to achieve that. So that's the KPI for your team to set the target कि इतना तो हमें achieve करना ही है. So that's your business plan practically. कि as a team
And
you have
this,
to do that.
and I heard you saying it that 5x, 7x or whatever the exit strategy, that is totally on the call of that is totally the call of the investors only, na? That if they want an exit in the first seeding round or second round or third round, अगर वो
Correct.
चाहते हैं, तो अगर उनको 2x भी बन रहा है, 3x भी बन रहा है, they are happy to exit it. Why
Yes.
would they wait कि हाँ भी 5x ही बनेगा मुझे तभी मैंने निकलना है?
Yeah,
That's their call, right?
that's their call as well as it has to be mutual. ऐसा नहीं है कि 2 साल के बाद उनको लग रहा है कि अभी एग्जिट लेना है, तो ये वो म्यूचुअल फंड वाला स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं कि ऑन डिमांड एग्जिट मिल जाए. यू शुड आल्सो हैव बैकअप रेडी. इफ आर यू रेजिंग सेकंड राउंड, एट दैट टाइम यू आर गिविंग देम एग्जिट, or you have made enough money that you think that I want to buy back my equity from the investor as well. So
These all criteria fall under the Companies Act, right? कंपनी की जो
Correct.
नॉर्म्स होंगी उसके अकॉर्डिंग या कंपनी सेक्रेटरी बताएगा वो कि भाई इस तरीके से एग्जिट या ये these are the procedures that everyone have to follow it.
correct.
क्योंकि
Always have investor who understand all these terms as well. तो वो भी एक बहुत जरूरी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि someone who hold capital and don't understand how these terms work, तो वो भी समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है उनको भी ये सारे टर्म्स पता हो. अदरवाइज मार्केट में ये भी हो रहा है that somebody who holds money just invest in your company but they become burden for these legal compliances tomorrow.
मैं तो generic I'm supporting or I'm asking the question based on the seed funders only because we all are seed funders at the stage because हमारे को भी validation तक जाना है. So accelerators, incubators or VCs, I find them into, I put them into a 3 different categories. मेरे को लगता है
उनको
कि
तो
हम
पता ही होता है. उनको तो ये टर्म्स पता ही होता है, उनकी प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. बट जो इंडिविजुअल एंजल इन्वेस्टर कैपेसिटी पे आते हैं उनको काफी बार ये टर्म्स पता नहीं होते कि हाउ डज द एग्जिट वर्क. उनको ऐसा लगता है कि हमने पैसा डाला है तो 2 साल में मिल जाना चाहिए. तो वो वाला माइंडसेट यू हैव टू रियली अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट दे आर एक्सपेक्टिंग.
So that is totally their call, right? मतलब वो
Yes.
उन्हीं का है.
बट हाँ वो डिस्कशन और वो लीगल टर्म्स वो जानने होने जरूरी है फ्रॉम द इंडिविजुअल पर्सपेक्टिव. बाकी एंजल वीसी और इंक्यूबेटर को तो पता ही होती है सारे.
राइट. ठीक है सर, ठीक है. तो मेरा बेसिकली नंबर्स का ही था क्वेश्चन कि कंजर्वेटिव वे से ही लेना चाहिए जितना हो सके सो दैट
कंजर्वेटिव ही लेना चाहिए. उसमें
मोर प्रैक्टिकल
या बेस ही लेना चाहिए. उसमें मैक्सिमम नहीं लेना चाहिए, अदरवाइज वो गलत एक्सपेक्टेशन सेट करता है.
हाँ ठीक है सर.
Sure. Anyone else have any doubts, queries?
I think we don't have any more questions from anybody. So
Sure.
then warm thanks to you for giving this valuable session. And I hope all the doubts are cleared which were related to this utilization of funds and what kind of states they have to undergo and what kind of thought
Correct.
process they have to make before investment and after investment.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
हाँ जी
So,
पांड्या जी धन्यवाद आपका बहुत बहुत
No worries.
for
Anytime.
this wonderful session. तो
No, happy to help anyone, even if
आप
before pitch, anyone have a doubt, I mean, feel free to reach out.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Mary from UIT Punjab University. And sir, your lecture was excellent and really it helped us a lot. And it cleared many doubts, especially about the angel investors and during the investor summit, which things we should keep in mind because we are also, this is the first time we are going for pitching. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
No worries,
And
I'm sure, cause I mean these are basic setup for maybe incubator as well, cause and this help that which sort of investors you have to call upon during the pitch as well. So it's both side expectation settings are important for investor as well as startup who are pitching to investors. So it is balance, and then all we want ki there is some conversation and they start working together out of that session which you are arranging, right?
yes, sir. Many
Hmm.
things were cleared, and if any further doubt I have during this time, so I'll ask you through Sadap ma'am and Manu sir.
Sure,
Thank you so
sure,
much,
sure.
sir.
Certainly. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks everyone. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.